Keir Starmer's government has just been hit with a major legal challenge, one that could have huge consequences for Labour's leadership and its handling of key decisions. This latest move comes just days after top Conservative peers announced their own High Court case against the government, adding even more pressure to an already embattled administration. This isn't just a routine legal dispute, this is serious. The case raises fundamental questions about how Starmer's government is making decisions, who they are listening to, and whether they are ignoring the people most affected. And if the challenge is successful, it could force Labour into a humiliating U-turn and completely derail one of their key plans. So what's really going on? Who's behind this legal action? And why could this case cause massive problems for Starmer's government? Let's break it down, but first hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more. Just a quick one to say we have new Labour t-shirts available on our website. You can check the link in the description or go to BritishStand.com. Labour's controversial plan to hand over the Chagos Islands to Mauritius has just hit a major roadblock. Days after top Conservative peers announced they would be taking the government to court over the move, a fresh legal challenge has emerged, this time from two British women born on Diego Garcia, home to the UK-US military base at the centre of the dispute. This latest challenge could have serious implications for Labour's negotiations, as it highlights a critical flaw in the government's approach. The Chagosian people themselves have not been given a say. And now, with legal action on the table, Labour could find itself in a battle not just in Parliament, but in the courts. Bernadette Dugas and Beatrice Pompey, both born on Diego Garcia, are vowing to take the Foreign Office to court, arguing that the planned handover is unlawful. They believe the islands should remain British and, just as importantly, they want the right to return to their birthplace. The story of the Chagosians is one of betrayal and exile. By 1973, the British government had forcibly removed the entire native population of the islands to make way for the joint UK-US military base on Diego Garcia. Ever since, Chagosians have fought to be recognised, to be allowed to return, and to have their voices heard. Now, Dugas and Pompey, backed by a legal team, are demanding answers from the Foreign Office. Their lawyers have sent a pre-action letter to David Lammy's department, warning that the Chagosians have been unlawfully ignored in the negotiations. Their legal argument is simple. How can the UK government hand over an entire territory without even consulting the people it belongs to? For Chagosians, this situation feels like history repeating itself. Pompey, one of the claimants, has spoken out against the move, describing it as yet another blow to a people who have already endured decades of injustice. Chagosians were removed from their place of birth without their consultation and have been treated badly for 60 years. Since then, we have been struggling to understand why we have been treated so poorly by the British government. Our human rights have been stripped away. Today, the British government is repeating the same mistakes which it made 60 years ago. All our suffering and cries to be heard have been falling on deaf ears. I want to stay British, and I also want the right to return to the Chagos Islands. Her words echo a growing frustration among those who believe the UK government is once again sacrificing the rights of the Chagosian people for political convenience. Barrister Michael Polak, who is representing Dugas and Pompey, called the government's approach a continuation of past mistreatment. The government's attempt to give away the Chagosians' homeland whilst failing to hold a formal consultation with the Chagosian people is a continuation of their terrible treatment by the authorities in the past. The legal challenge is now putting serious pressure on the Foreign Office, which has until March 25th to respond to the claims. The Labour government's handling of the Chagos Islands dispute has already been widely criticised. Shadow Justice Secretary Robert Jenrick has gone as far as branding the deal a surrender, arguing that Britain is giving up strategic territory with little benefit in return. Critics of the move argue that the government's priority should be the Chagosian people, not just securing continued operation of the Diego Garcia base. Yet, in a statement from the Foreign Office, it's clear that military concerns have dominated negotiations. Well, we do not comment on potential legal challenges. The negotiations were between the UK and Mauritius, with our priority being to secure the full operation of the base on Diego Garcia. However, we have worked to ensure this agreement reflects the importance of the islands to Chagosians. For many, this response is simply not good enough. While the government insists it has worked to ensure that Chagosians are considered in the deal, the reality is that they were never given a formal say in the fate of their homeland. What happens next? With this new legal challenge, the pressure is mounting on Labour to rethink its strategy. If the case is allowed to proceed, it could delay or even block the handover, forcing the government to answer difficult questions in court. And it's not just this case. Conservative peers are already preparing their own High Court challenge, meaning the government could soon be facing multiple legal battles over its Chagos policy. As the March 25th deadline approaches, all eyes will be on the Foreign Office's response. Will Labour push ahead with the deal, ignoring the voices of Chagosians once again, or will this legal challenge force them to reconsider? One thing is clear, the fight to keep the Chagos Islands British is far from over. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. In other news, 1 in every 36 Albanian men living in England and Wales are behind bars, according to official data. Almost 1,100 Albanians were in prison at the end of 2024, with just 3 being women. This places Albania at the top of a criminality league table by nationality, ahead of Guinea, Algeria, Vietnam, Sudan, Palestine, and Eritrea. The share of foreign prisoners from Albania has soared 7-fold over the past 15 years, as revealed by the Mail Online. In 2010, just 1.5% of foreign nationals jailed in England and Wales were Albanian. By the end of 2024, this figure had jumped to 10.6%, more than any other nationality. This rise mirrors how Albanian gangs have come to dominate the British drug trade. Albanian gangsters in the UK have been convicted of murder, sex offences, money laundering, and people smuggling. The National Crime Agency has long warned about the significant threat posed by Albanian gangs. They are infamous for their professionalism, discipline, and savage tactics to keep competition at bay. Albanian criminals negotiate directly with Colombian cartels to flood British streets with cheap cocaine. In Cardiff, 3 Albanian gang members were jailed for murdering Tomasz Varga, who tried to steal cannabis from their drugs factory. His body was dumped like a bag of rubbish after the 2021 killing. Meanwhile, serial killer Mane Driza, nicknamed Tony Montana after the Scarface character, is due to begin his UK sentence next year. He murdered a fellow Albanian in London in 1999 before fleeing to Italy. Housing Albanian prisoners costs UK taxpayers approximately £44 million annually, at around £40,000 per inmate. The rate of Albanians crossing the Channel has fallen since a prisoner transfer agreement was signed in 2022. Under Rishi Sunak, 200 were deported in exchange for £8 million to modernise Albania's prison system. Labour last week vowed to deport foreign criminals quicker, saying it cannot be right for taxpayers to foot the bill. What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comment section below. If you've not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Thank you, take care, goodbye.